Hi guys, welcome back to the Central Buzz News. Today is Monday, April 6th, and the time of this video is 7:45 a.m. So I'm going to show you on our clock what that looks like. So our hour hand looks like it's pointing to the 8, but that's because it's in 15 minutes it's going to be 8 o'clock. So this hand is still belongs to the 7, which I know is super tricky, but it still belongs to that 7. This is 7. Our minute hand is on our 45 mark, which is our 9. And remember, if we didn't know that, we would start up here at the 12. We wouldn't count the 12. We would start here and count by 5s to figure out what the 9 was. So this is 7:45. Tricky hour hand on that one. It is 7:45. Okay, so our weather today is going to be a high of 82 and it's going to be sunny. So just like a lot like the weekend, there might be some clouds this afternoon and a chance of rain possibly, but mostly sunny with a high of 82. So we're going to look at a word for today. So our word is something that I've been getting super acquainted with. I love to get outside away from other people, but I love to get outside and be in the fresh air. So our word for today is environment. And we know that an environment is kind of like the outside, the outdoors, somewhere where animals live, but we also have environments. So our neighborhoods, our communities, those are environments that we technically live in, but today we're going to be talking about the nature aspect of environment. When I turn it over onto the back, there are 3 things they associate with the word environment. One of them is natural resource. That's like us getting drinking water from a fresh water body. It's something that the earth kind of creates for us that people don't create. So a natural resource would be like drinking water, things like that. Here it looks like it's showing us a glacier with some polar bears on top. Glaciers are created by the earth. They're not created by people, so that's why that's a natural resource. This second word is actually going to be a word we're going to decode in just a few minutes. So I'm just going to show you the picture. And then the last word is recycle. So when we did our bird feeder project a few weeks ago, if you came to the school and you picked up a bird feeder set or you made one at home, that is an example of recycling. We took toilet paper rolls that we had already used, and instead of throwing them in the trash, we found something else to do with them. So recycling comes in many different ways. You can take things and recycle them, put them in the right bin so they can get used again, or you can come up with crafts to do to reuse them again. So those are our 3 words that kind of go hand in hand with environment and support the environment. We know that recycling is good for the environment. It keeps plastic and things away from animals that don't need to have those things. It keeps that trash from being put into the earth, in the landfills. So all 3 of those things are very important. So to look at that second word, this is our word. So the first thing that I noticed here was a CVC. I always try to find that CVC if that's in there because that's one pattern that I do know. So if this is a CVC, that means my O, my vowel, is going to be short. So I know at least, I don't know anything else in this word, I at least know that this right here says con. The next thing that I see here is a consonant vowel consonant, but this is an ER. That is an R-controlled vowel there. So that doesn't make ser, it makes sir, That ER makes an sound because the R is controlling it and making it have that R sound kind of with it. So the first part is con-sir. And then a lot of kids in my class know that this suffix right here makes the sound shun. So if I know those things, conservation, if I go here, this is conservation, conservation. So this is a really big word that we just decoded using some of the sounds that we know, some of the patterns that we know, and maybe some that we didn't. So I'm actually going to take a marker, and I'm going to underline my R-controlled part of our word because I think since that's a newer one that I haven't read a lot about or talked a lot about, I think I'm going to be on the lookout from now on for these R-controlled vowels. So whenever you see an R-controlled vowel in the word, just know that that R is controlling that vowel. It's making it have like an R sound with it. So again, that would be So you can start off by thinking and searching for words in your reading that have the the ER in there. And then I'm going to underline our suffix, or actually let's just circle our suffix here at the end of the word, shun. And so we've been reading, you guys have been listening to Donovan's Word Jar. Hopefully you have. That's been our read aloud in our Google Classroom. So I actually have my own jar here where I collect words. And I wanted to take a few out and see what I have collected so far. And I was collecting with the suffix tion. So this was my first word that I found. This word is station. This could be like your PlayStation that you play. This could be a train station, a bus station. It could be a station where you do something specific. Like if you go to a festival, you might go to a food station or a craft station. That's just a place where you do a certain thing. And that does have that ending. So that is in my word jar. So I'm going to pull out one more to show you guys. Okay, so we all should know this one. This is multiplication. So we do multiplication in math all the time, and I realized that multiplication has that suffix tion on the end, and I know that that says shun. So from now on, when I'm looking at these multisyllabic words, I can try to find, if I see that suffix in there, I'm going to at least know what that means and what that sounds like. I'm going to at least know what a CVC means. And hopefully, after we talk about it a little bit more, if you didn't already know, you'll be able to use your knowledge of the R-controlled vowels and know that many more patterns. That's going to help you with these bigger words. So those are just two words in my word jar. And like I told you, I'm going to start for the next couple of days when I'm doing read aloud or anything I come across. If I find an ER word, I'm going to put it in my jar. So the next thing we're going to do is we're going to go over our math concept for today. And I just want to kind of talk about this word, and I want you to be able to see the word as I'm talking about it. So we're going to be talking about an array today in our math problem. And I also want to talk to you about this word. This is the word represent. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to show you a model, and I'm going to ask you to pause the video and just jot down what equation would represent the model. That means if you look at the model, what equation would go with it? What would match? What would represent that? So I'm going to go ahead and show you our problem. And it actually asks us a question, but I'm adding on that question of wanting to know what equation represents this model. So I'm going to first read it. I'm going to give you a second to pause it, and then we're going to talk about it. All right, so the question says, Juan goes to the market. He sees a display with 5 rows of apples. There are 7 apples in each row. How many apples are there in all? So one word I just also realized is the word row. And when I talk about arrays, I do see rows and I see columns. And someone in my class reminded me that a column goes up and down, kind of like columns on your front porch maybe. So columns go up and down, our rows go horizontally from side to side, and that makes up our array depending on what our objects are. So I was glad to see those words in there. So it actually gives me a model of what Juan sees at the store. And again, these are our columns and these are our rows that go straight across. So again, the problem says Juan goes to the market. He sees a display with 5 rows of apples. There are 7 apples in each row. How many apples are there in all? So I do want you to take a second to pause the video to find the answer, but I'm also looking for the equation, which it does ask you for there. I just threw in the word represent because I'm going to be using those big 3rd grade math words. So I want to see an equation that matches this array and your answer. So you're going to take a second and pause the video here. Okay, and so if you did pause the video and work that problem out, we're going to go over that now together. So one thing that a lot of kids have told me that they do when they are working with this, instead of redrawing the model, I'm just going to show you on here. They like to either start with a row or a column. So I'm going to start with this column here. And I'm just going to see how many represents this side. The dimension. We call the sides of an array a dimension. So the dimension of this side right here is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So I at least know that my equation is going to have a 5 in it. One of my dimensions is 5 apples long. I have 5 apples in that dimension. And once I've counted one side, I'm going to pick a row. So I'm just going to do the top row. You could do the top row, you could do the bottom row, but I'm going to do the top. I'm going to count the dimension. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. So my dimension of the top is 7. This array is represented by the equation 5 times 7. And we know that in multiplication, it doesn't matter what order we go in of the numbers, so of the digits. So I could say 5 times 7, but someone else might look at this same figure and see 7 times 5. So either one of those works. Now, some of you may be looking at those and going, I don't have either of those. So I might have someone out there who saw it like this. There are 5 apples here, 5 apples here, 5 apples here, and so on and so on. So you might have something like this. This is our repeated addition, and this also works. It does represent that array because it is 7 rows of 5. Or I could have took 7 and added it 5 times. So if you have any of those, and I will go ahead and write that one down so that you can check your work. All of these represent that array. So there are a couple of things I can do here. I can count by ones, which some people do, but I also see a number in here, multiple in here, that I can count very well by, and I don't even need to count by ones. I see a 5, and I'm really good at counting by 5. So I might hold up 7 fingers and count by 5s. So I'm going to try that. 5, 10, 15, 20, 25, 30, 35. So 5 times 7 is 35. And if I wanted to go back and check myself, I could check my math, or I could go and count the apples by ones just to see. So my answer for total apples, and remember, I'm going to put 35 apples, because if I just put the number 35, I'm going to wonder, 35 what? So this shows that we understand what the problem is saying. So this is 35 apples that are here. So that is our math concept for today. Just remember, an array is built up by columns and rows. We count or figure out what the lengths or amounts of the dimensions are, the side and the bottom, or the side and the top. And we actually multiply those together to find that total area of that array. Or we could use repeated addition. So lots of different things that you can do there. So before we go today, I just wanted to give you some reminders from the Hive. So that is from the school. We know that I'm not in the school building, but there are still things going on there that you need to know about or that have to do with school. So I just have a few reminders from the Hive. So number one is check your Google Classroom daily. So that is where your assignments are going to be. If you go to Bessemer City Central, your assignments will be posted in your Google Classroom and you'll be able to see those things there. So make sure you're checking that daily. Those things will be posted on Monday by 8 a.m. Your lessons will be posted for you to see. You might not be able to access all of them each day until that day, but you will be able to see what you're going to be doing for that week if you're in third grade. The second thing, if you need to check out a Chromebook, some kids do not have Chromebooks at home to be able to get onto our Google Classroom or to be able to get onto iReady. If you do not have that and your parents have not seen yet that you can apply and contact the school to check out your Chromebook, please let your teacher know. If that teacher is me or if that teacher is someone else in third grade or fourth grade or fifth grade at our school, Bessemer City Central, please have your mom and dad reach out to your teacher and she can get you that Google form so that you can have a device to be able to do everything that you need to do for school. So those are your reminders. And one last reminder, make sure that you are collecting your words just like Donovan in a jar. You can pick any types of words you want to, and I'm going to keep collecting my R-controlled words in my jar here. So thank you guys for watching. I hope you had a great weekend. I hope you have a great day. See you tomorrow.